Welcome back to Twist of Fate, a small business podcast where you can find your inspiration to make your entrepreneurial dreams come true. Today's episode is a toast to good health, or lack thereof. If you're an entrepreneur out there, you need to be taking good care of your physical health, and there's no better way to do that than a nice run. So today, we're actually looking at a business that hosts marathon runs here in Bay Area, actually in the lovely city of Alameda. My guest, Steve Ashbaker, welcome to Twist of Fate.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited about it.
You are an entrepreneur, dad,
Yep.
runner.
Some would say.
You definitely run more than I do.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you started a business, Outfront Endurance.
I did.
So let's unpack some of that. So when did running become a thing for you? Were you a college athlete?
No, I wasn't a college athlete, but I ran pretty much my whole life, out of school, used it to stay active. I used to run with my friends out of high school. But in probably 1996, a good friend of mine, Greg Treno, talked me into doing a triathlon in Pleasanton, On Your Mark events. And I was running then, and I was a pretty good swimmer. I always loved to swim. So I said, yeah, of course we'll do it.
So to my audience, triathlon would
we
be
swim,
running,
bike, and run.
Yep.
Right, a little swim. And it was a small one. The run portion of the race was only 3 miles, a little 5K at the end. I think I walked half of that 5K, that race, but I was completely hooked, right? And so I've been doing endurance events since 1996.
Would you consider yourself a cross-country, long-distance, sprinter? Like, what class of runner are you?
I don't know. I'd probably none of the above, because the sprinters are way faster than I am. The longer runners could probably run longer than I can. But I think I've got a good mix of both, right? Like, I'm right in the wheelhouse for, I like doing sprint triathlons, right? So it's usually a half-mile swim, 12-mile bike, 5K or 10K run. That's kind of right in my wheelhouse, but I've done 2 full Ironmans. I've done many halves. I've run 6 marathons, I think.
I'm exhausted
So
listening to this.
I dabble in all of them. I'm probably not good at any of them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's fun. Yeah, so I've been doing that for a long time, and a lot of people don't know, but I have a nutrition and personal trainer certification. I got it mainly for me through National Academy of Sports Medicine, probably about 10 or 12 years ago.
Was this to complement these competitions you're in?
No,
or?
I think it was more just for me to understand my body better, to train better, to race better, to be healthier, right? I help people along the way where I can, but I've never wanted to make it a business necessarily. It was always just more for me. And then, kind of segueing now into the running thing, I lost my dad in 2013. So he died of multiple myeloma. Yeah, thank you. 10 years, it was 10 years last November, just happened. So when he passed away, I had been doing all the running stuff for a long time. I felt, what's the best way to give back? And so in 2014, we did our first event for him, a little 5K run on Alameda trails, and raised money for multiple myeloma, and it grew from there.
Losing your father was a catalyst of where you started blending this concept of you like to compete. You didn't say that you're competitive, but you got to be competitive to be doing Ironman and all that stuff.
I think we all have a little bit of that in us, right? Yeah, for sure.
And then you decided now to put it together as you could raise money for charity, for good causes that you care about.
Yeah.
And still run and still enjoy life.
Still enjoy life. And then you surround yourself with a community of people that are active and healthy and are getting up early to do their run, that are showing up late to go to the gym. You just surround yourself by positive energy, right? There's nothing better, like you mentioned in the intro, like getting out and being outdoors and challenging yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what it's about. And at the same time, we can give a little money to charity, right? And bring awareness to different causes. And that's how it started for me. And we're 10 years later. This year, 2024, will be the 10th year. So we're kicking off this season, and I'm
of Outfront Endurance, you mean?
Of the first run I did for my dad.
Got it.
And so
you do this every year. This is an annual thing you do.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
I didn't know this. So which race is this?
So It started as the holiday kickoff 5K. We're not doing that event anymore, we're going to talk about that, I'm sure, like how the evolution happened from when it started to where we are now.
Yep, we are.
And part of me is I want to kind of get back a little bit to like where it started, because it's now becoming a little bit of a business, which is still fun. I'm still meeting great people. We're still giving to great causes. But prior to the pandemic, I stopped doing the multiple myeloma run. COVID hit, here we are. So I just talked to them via email this morning about reconnecting with the San Francisco, and we're here in San Francisco, multiple myeloma chapter, and doing something special for the 10-year, giving some of our money back to them.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, a few more questions
Yeah.
about you being a runner.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, do you prefer to run with someone, or are you a solo runner, or do you need almost like
I prefer to run with people.
Okay.
Yeah. I train mostly by myself. I would think most runners will tell you they get up in the morning, they have a routine, or they get off work and they have a routine. But I think I find my energy talking to other people, running with other people. And
Do you run every day?
No, I probably run, on a good week, I probably run 2 to 3 times a week. But I've been in the pool, what's today, Thursday? We're shooting on Thursday. I've been in the pool twice this week. I was on the Peloton. I ride Peloton. I have
Gotcha.
a Peloton in my house. So I kind of mix it up. Yeah.
And your joints, do they hurt? Do you click
No,
and crack and
no,
make all
that-
these sounds?
No, my joints feel great. I hurt my joints more. Is my wife watching this? I hurt my joints more skateboarding probably. I'm still a 50 riding my skateboard.
You still skateboard now?
I'm being told I'm supposed to stop doing that.
Do you do tricks and stuff?
Yeah, last year before last, I broke 3 ribs at the pool in Alameda. Yeah, so I'm
Boy, skate or die.
yeah,
Look at
right,
you.
yeah,
I
so-
did not know that you.
So
you,
the
you
running
skateboard.
is. I mean, it certainly wears on you after a while, but I've knock on wood, I've been pretty lucky for the most part. You know?
Okay.
And I think swimming helps, and it's like anything else, right? Like all the runners that are out there probably listening, they know like you have to stretch. Like that's the real thing, right? You should be stretching and try to cross train and do yoga and eat right. All that stuff's important, you know?
I agree.
Yeah.
But
all that's important.
It's things that we deprioritize in our busy lives and all these
Yeah,
things.
I know. You have to prioritize it.
Twist of Fate will be right back. Hey, Twist of Fate listeners. Did you know you can book me, Doug Younger, DY3, to speak at your next event, deliver a keynote, or commencement speech? You know I'll bring all that Twist of Fate energy, as well as my experiences as the founder and CEO of 3 Steps Forward, a marketing company. The accolades that come with being a university adjunct professor and lessons from my corporate career in Fortune 500 businesses traveling to over 40 countries worldwide. You can also book coaching and workshop sessions for you and your team. Book me using the link below in the description for this episode. Hey, you never know. You may find your own inspiration leading to a twist of fate. So let's talk a little bit about the business side.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Raising money for charity is for a good cause, but the approach, it's still a business nonetheless. So
Yeah.
Outfront Endurance, when did you decide to create a hosting
Yeah.
and like creating races for other runners? Like, there's one thing you participate in running, but then
Yeah.
it's another thing to host a marathon.
Yeah, well, I think the interesting transition was, again, I did this to raise money for a cause in honor of my dad. And then the very next year, which is an interesting segue into why we're here today, the very next year, a good friend of mine, Louise, from the Alameda Hospital Foundation, asked me if I would do a race for her. And again, I didn't really know what I was doing, and we put on a 5K for my dad, and it seemed to go over.
How did she find you?
She ran my race.
Got it.
She ran the race.
The multiple myeloma race.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was like, we want to raise awareness for the hospital. And what a better way to do it than to talk about being healthy? And I'm like, of course, that's exactly what we're doing. So then in 2015, I'm trying to do the math now, 2015, we did 2 events, the holiday kickoff for my dad and the Hospital Foundation 5K.
But hold on.
Yeah.
Before that,
Yeah.
You never hosted an event, right?
No.
Like this was kind of breaking new ground now.
Just trying to figure it out. But I had friends that did it, and I had participated in a lot of events, and I had made connections. Kind of going back a little bit, I mentioned the trainer certification, but I also was an official for like USA Triathlon for like 8 years. So I would go to other events and
So
I would work.
You've seen how.
Yeah, and I worked with the race directors, and I had some really good connections. So I thought I knew how to do it. But like anything else, you think you know until you actually do it, and then you realize you don't know. But so that's kind of a long answer to,
But that's common with entrepreneurism. Like you learn by doing, right?
Yeah, you learn by doing, yeah. And so things for a while kind of grew. And then in 2016, I partnered with a friend of mine, and he was super great. He had some bigger triathlons. And we brought the Alameda Running Festival to Alameda. That was our first half marathon in 2016. So that's when I really started to realize this is cool. I want to do it. You're meeting people in the community. You're hearing stories of like, I ran my first race, or I never thought I could do that, and then you feel like, okay, we're actually making a difference to people. So that's kind of when it kind of popped into my head. And then of course COVID hit and everything took a turn. And the minute we could put on runs again, I started the business and right then, and here we are.
It was pre-COVID or
Well,
after?
The business started in 2019.
Okay.
But
so this is before COVID,
yeah,
but then the lockdown came.
But then the lockdown came, so nothing happened. I actually filed for an LLC in 2019, and then at the end of 2019, so really 2020, and then you're like, I think I paid the money actually to create the LLC, which isn't a lot, but it wasn't free. And then COVID hit, and I was like, oh, can I get that back? Like we're not doing anything, right? So we already had the foundation laid, and then coming out of COVID, it was just a matter of working with the city. When can we do this? When is it safe? And talking to my
So let me ask you this question. The lockdown comes.
Yeah.
And you run 3 times a week. How did you handle that? How did you process that? Did you ever feel like...
Oh, it's terrible, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, that had to affect you.
Well, the gyms are closed, so like for me, I like to swim too.
So you couldn't swim?
No, so now, we're doing open water. I swim in the bay. Yeah.
Okay, you didn't say that.
Yeah, so well, you had to. It's COVID, right? So
that's what you were doing?
Yeah. Couple times
it's too cold to swim in the bay.
Wetsuit. Right? Yeah, wear a wetsuit. Yeah.
So
I would run outside. You could run outside. We were still running.
Were you still doing that?
Yeah, of course. We live in the bay.
But you said you like to run people though.
I do. That's what I'm saying. It's tough. That was tough.
So you would run alone.
Would run alone. And I still run alone now. I still, I leave from my house a couple times a week and I run alone, but you asked what I preferred to do. I find more energy running with people, but I think everybody who's out there running, 90% of the time you're training by yourself. There's running groups out there, and we're probably going to talk about that. We're starting one in Alameda too, but yeah.
Now, do you feel there's a lot of runners that may have felt kind of disconnected during that time period?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was probably disruptive.
It was very disruptive to a lot of people. And not really being able to race. I think one thing that, let's face it, we all want to talk about, I just want to go do it to make myself healthy. But most people do it because they have a goal in mind.
Yeah, they want a certain time, right? They want a time, or they want to finish.
I'm going to finish that race. I've had this on my bucket list. I've been training for the San Francisco Marathon, and they're all shut down. So where's your motivation? Like for me, I just had energy that I probably had to get rid of, right? So I would go run. But a lot of people just stayed home, And so it was tough, I think. The whole community took a hit. And you can tell now because a lot of businesses that put on these events are not coming back. So there's definitely, like, even for me, a small business in Alameda, there's a need for it because a lot of the event companies around the Bay Area just didn't come back after COVID.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big exodus. A lot of them even left the state, right?
For sure.
So
yeah.
So interesting time. So I have to.
For sure.
I was hiding something.
Okay.
So I'm not a runner. I was a tennis athlete. Past tense, but I did participate in a marathon.
Okay. Congratulations. It's not easy.
And it was Beta Breakers.
Well, it was a run.
And,
yeah,
it was a walk with beer.
It was a walk with beer, yeah, for sure. and I think just for people out there, like when you're marketing this, I'm sure people that run are going to watch it. We would hope, right? That's the.
Oh no, I'm sure.
So like obviously, just to get the terminology right, a marathon is 26 miles, right? We put on running events. We have our September and August events that have half marathons, so 13.1. A marathon is 26.2. So Beta Breakers is a 12K. So it's 7.46. It's not 26.
So I'm going to clarify.
Yeah.
I did this on purpose.
Yeah.
So my fractional CFO
Yeah.
His name's Ross Johnson.
Okay.
He's a runner like you.
Yeah.
He runs all kinds of stuff. Okay. I say like Spartan, just like Spartan blood in him. He just runs, right? Anything that requires me to start somewhere and get to the end, I call it marathon.
Oh, there you go.
If I gotta look,
if you gotta lace it up and go.
Yeah. If I gotta even in costume.
Yeah.
And I go, man, this marathon's tough, and he always corrects me every time.
I bet. Yeah,
but,
for sure.
You know, I digress. So
That's awesome.
So,
and Beta Breakers is no joke. It might only be 7.5 miles. It is up and down hills. Like people think of Beta Breakers like this fun event. You throw the tortillas and everybody dresses in costume. And I've done that like 10 times. But if you run the Beta Breakers, it is a hard race.
They're up at like 7.
Yeah, all up at like 5, 6. It's
Listen, I was up at 5 a.m. drinking beer already.
And there you go.
So I saw those people, and they were definitely Spartan.
Mm-hmm. They were
but my comment, I'll tell you why I bring this up. Because there is a culture with runners.
For sure.
And I hadn't experienced it until that Beta Breakers, which this is a long time ago, by the way. Sadly to say, this was like 2011.
Yeah, it's not that long ago.
But to that experience still resonates with me. Yeah. The environment, like you said, that, and when you get to the end, there's all this craziness. I'm like, wow, like look at
especially
this.
Beta Breakers. But like San Francisco Marathon's the same way. Oakland Marathon is pretty big. They do a great job over there at the Oakland Marathon.
You ran all of these?
Yeah, one time or another. Yeah, one time or another. I only did the half for San Francisco. They do a cool thing too where they break it up. You can do a half, the first half or the second half or the full. I've run Oakland 3 times. I ran Oakland 3 times in a row actually, from 14 to 17, something like that.
Twist of Fate will be right back. Want to be part of our growing community of entrepreneurs and business owners? Join our Patreon and gain access to all of our content, including exclusive videos, Twist of Fate merchandise, and bonus educational content. You can also advertise right on Twist of Fate by joining our ad partner program. Don't have an ad to run yet? That's okay. We can help you by producing a Twist of Fate perfect ad like this one. Check out the show notes and learn how to apply to become an ad partner. And of course, we always appreciate when you like, subscribe, and share. Now let's get back to Twist of Fate. You put on this multiple myeloma race.
Yep.
The Alameda Foundation, great people, approach
great
you.
People. Yep.
You incorporate.
Of course.
And your motivation for your business is to host races that makes money.
I hope a little bit, yeah.
But also the social impact of it also positions you to raise money for charities. Yeah. So, and I really want my audience to pay attention here. Yeah. So just because you're a for-profit LLC doesn't mean there's not social good or social impact built into what you do, because that's what you do. That's what I'm interpreting.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, every event that we have has a charitable portion of that, right? And I want to keep it that way. And that's why for now, like I've kept it just to Alameda. Like I have a lot of partners that I work with and friends and race directors all over, and I go and participate in all these races and I try to help them and I'll volunteer. But we're trying to keep it in Alameda for now. That's where I've been,
because that helps the charities of Alameda, it helps the people.
Yeah. We have such a great running community there, but we also have such a great just general community in Alameda, and there's so many charities there that could use help, right? And we every single event that we do is tied to a nonprofit. So I mean, of course, Steve wants to make a little money, but I have a job. Like I have a real, I don't want to say real, they're all real jobs. Yeah. But like I work for FedEx and I do that full time, and FedEx is gracious enough to allow me to bend my schedule to do this on the side. And so I do it because I want to make a little money. But most importantly, I want to stay active in the community. This connects me with great people. If I didn't do that hospital race, I would have never met you.
100%.
I wouldn't be sitting at the Salesforce Tower hanging out.
On a podcast?
On a podcast. And like I said, the people in the community, they're all like searching for something, right? I want to better myself in this way or that way. And then, can we bring more awareness to the hospital that needs repairs for people in Alameda? that might need emergency services and can't get off the island, of course. Or our 4th of July run that raises money for the Midway Shelter, like battered women and children. It doesn't really get any better than that. This year, and again, even though we think of COVID as like past tense now, like COVID was so long ago, but it really was only a couple years ago when we started coming out of it. And even
there's residual effects. That's what we were talking about, like for runners, like their whole routine or their competitions, like everything was disrupted.
Yeah, for sure. And no one knew like when you'd be able to actually, just because we could walk outside and not wear a mask, can you get 10,000 people, or in our case, 500 or 1,000 people together? The city didn't. Forget about just Alameda, like Danville, San Ramon, Walnut Creek. They didn't know when we're going to be able to do that. So it took a long time. So really, this last year, 2023, was the first year that I had all 4 of my events. From April
Let's go through those. Let's
December.
go through those.
But hold on, let me finish my point. So in those 4 events, we raised $32,000 just for charity. And I would like to give $40,000 in 2024 or $50,000 in 2025, right? So that's a big part of it.
So then you host these Alameda events. So first, let's talk about the course. So Alameda is a beautiful island. Like
unbelievable.
Some of my listeners obviously don't have the benefit of living in the Sunshine State.
Yeah.
Like I'm punching back on some of the criticisms that we get. We have our problems, but it's still a beautiful place. But Alameda is special. So could you let's tell them a little bit about Alameda, because you grew up there.
Yeah, Alameda is amazing. I was born and raised in Alameda. My dad was Vietnam and was stationed at NAS Alameda, the Naval Air Station. It was beautiful. Like basically Alameda.
Right on the water.
Right on the water. Alameda is an island. It's surrounded by Oakland and San Francisco. And like 1/3 of Alameda is a naval base. And for the last 20 or something years, the Navy base has been closed. Like sometime I'm sure some historian's going to correct me. I think it was around 87, 89 when it officially closed. But they weren't able to do anything on it because they had to like renovate the whole thing. It was a military base for 50 some odd years and it was contaminated and whatever. So they've been really working on that. But Alameda is beautiful and it's flat and it's got historic views. Our running trails,
It's like of the San Francisco Bay, like the waterfront is incredible.
It's just incredible. And so like even when like running our routes, right, on one side of the island, you have the estuary and you have the Jack London and Oakland Hills on one side and the boats and all the, the ferries coming in and out. On the other side, you have unobstructed beaches for probably 2 miles long with views of San Francisco. And then in the middle, you have the Gold Coast and all the history of, all the rich people from San Francisco used to come over to Alameda and they had their like little getaway homes over in Alameda. And that's how it started. It's flat. So talk about running. The weather's always, even when it's raining, oh my God, it's like 58. It's terrible over here.
Yeah, it doesn't get very hot there. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's pretty temperate, right?
Yeah, it's pretty mild the whole time. So it's great for running. It's super flat.
It never gets that cold.
The temperature's great. Never gets too cold. Never gets too hot.
So you morning runners.
It's
you
perfect.
Don't have to like all bundle up.
Yeah.
And
people are complaining right now. They want to, wear their heavy coats. It's like 51, 52. It's negative 20 and. Minnesota right now, I don't know, but yeah, Alameda's fantastic. And it's kind of weird. Like, I don't want to say that it's, it's like that place that nobody knows about because of course they do. But I feel like it's still very underutilized. And that's kind of why we're here. Like,
I'll admit to me.
Yeah.
So I'm a Clevelander.
Okay.
But I've been living in the Bay for about 13 years.
My Coast Guard friends that live in our condo are of Cleveland. We had to
you got to hook us up.
We had to go to the little Alameda bar, which I didn't know. Shout out to McGee's in Alameda. They host a little Cleveland Browns club.
What are you talking about? So now that's real talk.
We had to go because Carrie and Abby wanted to go watch the Cleveland game at McGee's. And I was like, hey, I love my friends at McGee's. I'll go. But why are we going again? They said, because we have to go watch the Cleveland game.
You're going to connect us, right? Like, don't play games. You can't tease me like that and not follow up.
We digress, but yeah.
Okay.
Cleveland.
So let's go through each event. You said there's 4, right?
There's 4 this year, yeah.
Okay, so then what's the first one?
So April 21st, we do a 5K, 3-mile run and a 10K, right? 6.2 mile run, and we have a little family kids run. We do on Bay Farm Island, which is actually part of Alameda, but it's connected to the Oakland airport. What's crazy is Alameda's an island. You go off the island to go to Bay Farm, but that's still part of Alameda. I don't even know how that ever happened. But we do it on Bay Farm, and we're raising money for the Alameda Hospital.
So that's for Alameda Hospital.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, again, that's April 21st. Super fun little event. You run the trails of Bay Farm Island. It's beautiful.
So that's the first one.
That's kicking it off, April 21st. And then we do a really unique event. So Alameda, I don't know if this is still factual today. Again,
And wait, one thing.
Go ahead.
So at that race,
Okay. The April race.
if you finish,
When they finish.
very good. See, that's a Spartan talking.
Running, walking, doesn't matter.
So at the finish line,
Yep.
there's medals.
Of course, there's medals, and I'll get a great. We have great swag, right?
You got swag. You're wearing one. I see it.
Yeah, for
I see
sure.
it.
So really cool quality shirts. You'll get a great medal. We have beer from all the local breweries. Alameda has like 5 breweries on the island. They provide beer. We'll have a DJ and
Free
music.
beer.
Of course, for the runners.
And
For the
that DJ
participants.
is hitting. What's the
DJ
DJ's
Raul,
name?
he's great. He does all
DJ
my
Raul,
events.
that's his name.
He does all my races. Yeah, he's super fun.
So I like that guy.
He's
I'm
good.
always. I don't know if you saw it when I was there. I'm like yelling at him, like, "Hey, DJ!"
He's pretty fun. We just did a little kickoff event at Faction Brewery on New Year's Day. So Claudia, shout out to Faction. She's amazing. They don't really open on holidays, and they never open on Mondays, right? Just a slow day for breweries, right? But she opened for us on a Monday on New Year's Day, and we had like 75 or 80 runners show up and just do like a healthy kick off the year, run around the Alameda Point.
Yep.
And then we all hung out for beer, and DJ Raul came out.
But
and he ended up playing for hours.
So
He didn't leave.
so you call it an expo at the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
expo when you finish,
Yeah.
it's kind of special because it's not just the DJ Raul. Like I saw they were giving like massages, and then there was like there's a whole bunch of businesses
We had
there.
donuts there.
Donuts, yeah.
And the big August event, we had 30 vendors this year at our expo.
Okay, so we have the race
So,
in April.
April
That's one.
21st.
What's the second one?
So this is actually pretty cool. So what I was going to tell you, so the 4th of July parade in Alameda is, I'm told it's the longest parade in the country, point to point.
It is.
Almost 4 miles, right? And they, of course, shut down the roads for the parade. So we kick off that parade with a 5K run. So this one's a smaller event in that it's only one run, it's only 3 miles, that's it. But we get, we had over 1,500 people.
I was at that one. I was at that one.
1,400 people last year.
Yeah.
And I think we could max out at 2,000, 2,500.
See, my wife and kids did the parade.
They did the parade.
And then I worked the
thing
expo.
at the end, the expo at the end. And that was pretty fun. That was the first year in last year that we did that little expo thing, right? Usually what happens is they finish the run and then we're kicking them off the road because the parade's coming right behind them. And we were like, this is an opportunity to keep people that don't have anywhere to go. Because a lot of folks are like, my family's back at, whatever street. So they got to try to get back.
But they got to wait for the parade.
Yeah, they got to wait, or they got to go on side street. So we're like, stay here, DJ, beer, vendors, and the parade passes right by the finish. It's pretty cool. So that'll be our next event. That raises money for the Midway Shelter, which is obviously a great cause.
Where's the Midway Shelter? Is that at Alameda?
So the shelter's actually in Oakland. There's 2 small shelters in Alameda, I believe, and I'm trying to think of where they're. One's close to Alameda Point. I'm not sure exactly where the other one is. I meet with the board members every month. But then also the Midway Shelter is bigger than just Alameda. And so we have people come from Oakland too. But there is 2 small shelters, I believe, in Alameda. And they're always raising, they're trying to get blankets. And it's cool because I get to listen and hear like families that were homeless and then they found a place, right? Because they're placing people all the time into apartments or homes. So it's a really, really great cause.
Great cause, and
Yep.
given the challenges we're facing in our city with homelessness, it's kind of boomed post-COVID. Like it wasn't. It was always an issue, but it's really boomed now. But now more than ever that we need to help that charity.
More than ever.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and maybe now's a good time. I mean, obviously we're going to talk through the other 2 events as well. But when you register for our events, one cool thing is like, of course, a percentage of your registration goes back to the shelter, right? Steve gets a little bit. We pay for all the event costs like any other business would. And then we give a percentage back to Midway. But on top of that, you can register, and let's say you do the 5K and it's $35, and you can give an extra 5 or an extra 20, and 100% all of that goes right to the charity. So I always try to remind people and encourage them, it's not just about showing up and running, but 100% of whatever you give goes to them above and beyond that registration cost. And so that's helpful for people to know as well. And we just, cut a check to them at the end, and they go do cool stuff.
No, it's a super positive
for sure.
cause. Super positive cause. Twist of Fate will be right back. Enjoying this episode and want more Twist of Fate? Let's do this thing.
I am fierce. I am powerful.
No, we're gonna do it, and then we're gonna do it, and we're gonna make our own brokerage with it.
I think your strategy was different.
It's not just me, it's a team.
No, we're gonna work with you and we're gonna walk with you.
Check out over 40 episodes with new ones on the way. Find your inspiration with Twist of Fate. Available to stream on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. So then next race.
So this is a little complex, and this is kind of our big event that I do kind of want to talk about. So the Island Running Festival has a half marathon event. It's our longest on the island. But what's cool is a friend of mine who came from the Oakland Marathon, Lena, we were doing together, mainly with her event, but I was helping her with something called the Alameda 10 Miler. That was in August. It was a very unique one event, 10 miles. It's kind of a niche distance, but you get a lot of pretty competitive runners in that 10-mile distance. It's really growing throughout the country, actually. But that was in August. My half mile.
I'm not doing anything 10 miles without a car.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
You can
understood.
do 10 miles?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, man.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to do something cool with this event this year. So listen, so 10 miler was in August. My half marathon, the running festival, was in September. For this year, we're bringing them all together. And we're going to try to create a unique 3-day running, like a real festival.
Yeah.
So Friday night, August 16th, we're going to do 1 mile time trials starting at 6 p.m. And so anything from like middle school to high school track and field, collegiate, elite level, you go by age group and then male, female, and there's 1 mile. And you get guys that are running, 4.5 minute miles.
Sure.
These guys are fast. So we're gonna do that on Friday night, super energetic and exciting. We'll have music under the lights. But then Saturday will be our 10-mile event. And then at 10 o'clock, I think, I gotta look at the schedule, we're gonna do the family fun run. So we have a 1 mile fun run. So you can come out, and we're partnering with my friend Wilson at Mission HQ. He does some really cool stuff. He's actually a kidney transplant recipient. And he's got a business where he helps people kind of rehabilitate, whether you're going through cancer treatment or you had a kidney transplant.
Good on him.
Right? So they're going to help partner with us, and anybody who just wants to run or walk a mile, the Family Fun Run Saturday. Then Expo all day. Like again, we have 30 vendors in 2023.
Yeah.
And then Sunday will be the big day, half marathon, looping Alameda, 5K distance, 10K distance. So we do talk about a distance for everybody. Like it truly will have that event in August. From a 1 mile event to a half marathon event, it'll be certified through USA Track and Field. So you can use that to qualify for other events. And like we talked about earlier, Alameda is flat and fast. It's a great opportunity. So that'll be our big marquee event. We'll finish the year with the December event, raising money again for Midway. So
the Midway Shelter.
Midway
so
Shelter.
Two events.
Two for Midway. One for Alameda Hospital Foundation.
But you didn't say what. I was going to say.
It's going to be for Alameda Education Foundation. So all that money goes. You think of all the things happening in schools right now, where like music is getting cut out, PE's getting cut out, right? AEF does a great job.
Actually, at our Quail Run Elementary School,
yeah.
They have to do different fundraisers themselves to raise money for the school because of, like you said, how do you get a library? How do you pay a librarian?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not funded by the state anymore, so they have to do fundraisers.
And it's so disappointing that we can't siphon off a little bit of money when you think of all the money that's really out there. I know everybody's struggling right now.
It's upsetting.
There's money out there. It's just how they allocate it, right? And so they're doing a fantastic job with backpacks for the kids and providing supplies for after school programs, things like that. And so I've had the opportunity for probably the last 5 or 6 years, sans COVID, right? But before and after, to go and adopt a classroom. So we'll take $500 out of the money we raised and go and they do a really cool thing. They surprise the teachers. They have no idea. So we'll go knock on the door and I'll walk in with Vicky or one of her staff, and we have the big corny check and the teacher has no idea, and I get to talk to the kids about why exercise is important, right? And then we give them a check, and the teacher can do whatever she wants with it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we raise
heroes
money.
do this kind of stuff, Superman does stuff like that.
So it's just, trying to do my part, right? Trying to do my part.
No, so
it's super fun.
So that means 4 races.
4 races.
3 different
Three different charities. Yep.
And then lots of opportunities for medals. But there is a special thing. If they do all 4 races,
technically three of the 4.
If they do 3 of the 4, then what?
You get a special Island Challenge medal, and you get a pat on the back, and it's like, hey, good job for you. But you definitely do get a special medal. We're trying to find some other cool, unique things to do this year. I will tell you, going back to the August event, because now we're 2 days, we're doing some other really unique things too. You can run the 10-miler on Saturday and any of the 3 events on Sunday. And we're looking at either doing a special medal or like a cool like swag shirt, or you'll definitely get a custom race belt. But, literally that's 10 miles on Saturday, 13 miles on Sunday. It's almost a full marathon in 2 days. Cool stuff like that.
No, it's awesome.
So bundling your registration together.
And I think something, breaking the fourth wall, talking to my audience, something I want to share. Not only did my company, we met Steve at one of these events, and we started participating as a vendor, but the same fractional CFO that I was talking about, he actually ran in the race. And also I encourage one of our interns, Marco, who's at Cal State, and he ran in the race. So this is a behavior I think a lot of entrepreneurs need to understand. You want to create a healthy culture in your organization, and one way to do it is to encourage them to exercise. And, not only did those guys run, but they ran in our branded shirts, and they were the 3 Steps Forward athletes. And I think that is creating a winning culture in your organization. And I hope if you're out there somewhere, find some local race or marathon somewhere that your employees can go and do and enjoy and become part of race culture. Yeah,
no, I totally agree. Like, we're talking about my events in Little Alameda, but we're in the Bay Area, and there's no shortage of races out there. Go find something and get involved. And almost all of them out there. Like Oakland Marathon or San Francisco, or of course they're in it to make money. But they're connecting and bringing people and bringing businesses and charities together. They're all giving back in some way. So it's just a matter of getting out there and also taking care of yourself too, right? Doing something fun. And like I said in the beginning, like, you're surrounding yourself with like-minded, healthy people. It's nothing but positive.
I agree.
Nothing but positive.
Steve, if any of my listeners want to participate as a runner, actually support you personally in any charity, or collaborate with you. Maybe there's some other vendors that want to come join me at the expo and do cool stuff. Absolutely. How do they get in contact with you?
So of course, website, outfrontendurance.com. You can learn about all of our events, what we're doing. Email steve@outfrontendurance.com. We do have a Facebook and Instagram. I'm not great at keeping up on that. That's one of the things, like, as I look back at, transitioning into this quote unquote business, right? And that's why another reason why we're talking, right? Like, the marketing part is complicated. And to get people engaged and to find that group of people, I wish I did a better job initially at marketing, but we're fixing that now. We're solving that problem now.
Can people sponsor other runners?
Sure.
Like, can they just buy, okay?
Of course. Yeah. Well, and we're doing a thing this year also, Corporate Challenge, right? Again, we're trying to get businesses to come out and get their employees and their community more active. So what we're doing is, you could, like, as an example, Twist of Fate, we could give you a different discount based on how many people you bring. I'll give you some free ones, then we'll give you different tiers, and then you could just pay us at once and let the employees run for free, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Events. Yeah.
So a lot of my listeners, that if you're at corporations, try to encourage your business to participate. Absolutely. Because that's good for the business to give to charity, and that's good for their taxes. Yep. But then at the same time, it really goes to really positive causes, and it'll get you off the couch. So with that thought, I'm going to move to my final thoughts. Okay. What you saw from Steve here is what is the definition of an entrepreneurial crusader. You can't tell me from this episode that Steve's not making the world a better place by starting a business, making money, and channeling said money to social impact, positive causes. This is the general purpose of what we all are trying to do here. Make the world better through business. With that, please share, like, subscribe. It really helps this podcast get out there, because we are trying to help educate and teach and show people that'll help you find your inspiration through planning, passion, and optimism. With that, I look forward to seeing you on the next Twist of Fate.
Twist of Fate is hosted by Doug Younger. It's produced by John Lenved and Matthew Brown at Ezo Creative. Special thanks to all of our Patreon members, and if you want to be a part of our growing community, join our Patreon and gain access to bonus content, Twist of Fate merch, and more. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for listening.